Where is the absolute minimum for f of x is equal to 5 divided by x squared plus 1 on the interval from -2 to +3? Let's first begin by rewriting f of x so that it is one line instead of as a quotient. And that would be f of x is equal to 5 times x squared plus 1 raised to the -1st power. And next what we can do is we can find the derivative of this function to find our critical values. And we're going to be using the chain rule in this case. So we have our coefficient of 5 out here, and then by the power rule and chain rule, we're going to have, by the power rule, -1 brought out in front. We keep the x squared plus 1 in the parentheses, raise it to the -2nd power, and then we have to multiply by the derivative of what is inside of the parentheses. So the derivative of x squared plus 1 is 2x. And now we can multiply 5 times -1 times 2x to get -10x. And then since this set of parentheses is raised to the -2nd power, we can put -10x over that to make the exponent positive. So we have x squared plus 1 raised to the 2nd power in the denominator. And then if we set this equal to 0, we can use this equation to find our critical values. First, let's look at the denominator. X squared plus 1, quantity squared. Can that ever be 0? The answer here is no, because even if we put in, say, -1, -1 squared is +1, 1 plus 1 is going to be 2, and then you're going to square 2 to give you +4. So there is no undefined critical value. We can look now solely at the numerator. So when -10x is equal to 0, that x value will be 0. Let's use that to create our sign chart. So 0 is our critical value. We're going all the way down to -2. So we can substitute -1 as our test point, and then we're going up to 3, so we can use 1 as our other test point to see the behavior of the function. And when we do that, we'll substitute -1 in first. -10 times -1 is +10, and then -1 squared is +1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 squared is +4. That's also a positive value. Positive divided by positive is positive, so our function is increasing from -2 up to 0. Now let's substitute in the +1. And if we do that, we'll have -10 times +1 is -10, so we'll have a negative in the numerator. And then 1 squared is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 squared is 4. That's going to be positive. Negative divided by a positive will give us a negative value. So therefore, we have a local max because we have increasing to decreasing. So 0 is going to be a local maximum. Now, since this question asks for the absolute minimum, this 0 is not going to be it. So let's test out our endpoints to see which of these has the lowest value. So f of -2, we have 5 divided by -2 squared is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, so we have 5 divided by 5, which is 1. Now we have to evaluate the function at 3. So if we do 3 squared is 9, 9 plus 1 is 10, so we have 5 divided by 10, which is 1/2. Of these two values, the lowest one is this one, the function evaluated at 3. So 3, 1/2 is our absolute minimum value. Answer choice D.